How many games? Lots of games.
Next time, 2 balls remain.
So Mamadullah, the new batsman replacing Shakib Al Hassan, who's just been dismissed from the bowling of Sodi. Partnership of 15 between Mushfiqur and Shakib. Sodi's done a good job here for New Zealand. 2 for 14 for him at the moment. Slip in. New Zealand sensing a chance here.
Wait. In the beer. There is the fish. Mate.
2 for 4 still.
Nice, Ish. Well, mate. Near enough to it.
So you can see good innings from Sumaya. Opening partnership with Tamim, but then
Jimmy!
Took nicely off the hips there, and an easy one. I think Bangladesh, I was alluding to that last partnership possibly being the one that could have got them to a nice big score. You really have to have wickets in hand last 10 here. I suppose it's in any form of cricket, but here especially now, because the pace of the wicket, it's not as easy to play your shots. So with that in mind, when you go to try and force it later on in the innings, without that security in the bank, you know, it's going to be difficult to go and score that 8, 10 and over consistently. Big shout. Oh, that must be just going down. Initial thoughts, that looked very close.
Just nipping back once again. Munro's finding a length there, drawing the batsman forward. On, I think, is it? Yes, 136 for 4.
Stuff, Manu.
I was in the zone. You'll be changing your account. An offshore account.
Come on, Ace.
Good period of play for New Zealand with the dismissal of Shabir and Shakib, Sumaya. So there are the bowlers. Sodi in a good spell here. And you can see New Zealand just starting to attack a little bit more.
An interesting option with the sunglasses from Ross Taylor there. They're not needed too often here in Ireland.
A little bit more flight from a confident Sodi. Well, there you are. Not the only man you can see. Well, you get these stars. They like to, of course, to protect their anonymity.
It's a hotbed of cricket here in Dublin, so you have to be careful now when you're a big name like Oace walking around.
It's the leg break, not much turn there, so it's just tucked away by Mamadullah.
In. Like it is, good is. Holding here. Good lads. Ball. Love it, Ish. Finish off, Ish.
Difficult situation here for Mamadullah, just coming out after the fall of a couple of wickets, so he's not sure whether to stick or twist, and he needs to really just try to get off strike and get Mushfiqur onto strike as much as possible.
Ish Sodhi very full to finish. Another good over from him. 2 for 16 from 7 overs. 138 for 4. Good support from the Bangladesh supporters. Look everywhere. They just love it. Now, change of bowling. Munro's had a couple. Tom Latham has now turned to Mitchell Santner. It's an interesting one. He's now bowling from the Walton end, which means that's the short boundary behind him. So let's just see what sort of length he tries to settle in on. He'll be nice, and I think probably nice and tight against the two right-handers in its sort of middle and leg, not wanting to give them too much room to hit through the offside. There is a long off in position. Get a good connection, though. See it flying over him. It starts with a shorter one.
I really like this plan here from the New Zealanders. I think Santner has bowled really well. I think his confidence is up and he hasn't been hit down the ground too often. So to bring him on from the far end potentially might bring the Bangladeshis out of their crease. Maybe make them play something that they don't want to play at this stage.
Jimmy on the boundary? It's not a long boundary, that.
Well, it throws certainly a lot of questions at the Bangladesh batsmen. Are you prepared to take the risk here and run the risk of losing another wicket?
Wait.
Again, just slightly shorter.
Good set, like it set. Only mate. It's good, Mitchie.
Just keep an eye out for the slightly slower one to tempt, and a nice arc of temptation from Mitchell Santner. There's the one that's a bit fuller, and he does beat short cover.
So the important thing, obviously, for Santner when he does try these types of plans, I suppose, is to get his length right. And he's just a bit full that time, but he'll be looking to just drag that back a couple of feet and force the bad shot.
Become a very reliable part of the New Zealand attack in the ODIs. Good economy rate generally between 4 and 5, which is outstanding, really, today's terms.
Nice, Broomy. Stuff, Broomy. Leave him, bud.
Mushfiqur was keen.
Like that set. Good set. Both.
Men back from the IPL. That's Corey Anderson on extreme right, and then Adam Milne, and then the New Zealand coach.
Both.
It'll be interesting to see
Good job.
if they're drafted in at any stage in the tri-series. And so, of course, in the heat and the lot of travel in the IPL, only bowling 2 or 3 overs, 2 over spells, they'll need to get some miles in their legs.
Oh!
Alarm ball just skimming and continuing on. So just 3 from the over, 141 for 4.
You're playing on it next week. Eh? You're playing on it next week as well.
So, still to come on the schedule. First, we have Ireland against Ireland against Bangladesh on Friday at Malahide. We have Ireland against New Zealand on Sunday, and then to finish it off, we're back here in Clontarf next week with Bangladesh against New Zealand as well.
So quite a lot for Bangladesh here. If they can somehow win 3 matches, a lot of pressure on these two sides also here in terms of the actual Champions Trophy just around the corner. They are both in the same group, of course. They'll play each other at Cardiff, their 3rd match in the groups. So there you are. There are the rankings at the moment. New Zealand at 4 and Bangladesh at 7. If Bangladesh are able to win 3 matches, that's today's game and the other 2 remaining, they'll move up to 6. It's above Sri Lanka, of course. There we are. Pulled away, and that's too far away from the sweeper.
And a first boundary now for Mamadullah. He's waited a while for that one. And it's the first one, I suppose, that's been dragged really down. That's a poor delivery, and he's rocked back, used all the space on the leg side and hit it into it.
This one's full. He's gone higher, but he hasn't really got a lot of it, so it's been clothed out towards George Worker, sort of the mid-wicket area. So Sodhi just losing his length in this over. He's been pretty consistent so far.
Go! It's good, Ace. Brilliant. Nice, brilliant boy.
Good finish here from Sodhi. He'll be looking to get out of this over now with a dot after a couple of poor deliveries. If you can finish this nicely now and just get out, get to the other end.
He beats short cover, and I think that's also going to beat the sprinting sort of man on the boundary. So he finishes with a 4. So expensive over, 152 for 4. So a partnership of now 20 between Mushfiqur and Mamadullah from 26 balls. Here's Santner. Oh dear. Good length, Santner. Mushfiqur uncertain. Big inside edge.
not a lot of bounce here as well, so Mushfiqar will be happy, I suppose, with the result of that one. Not a lot of footwork, he's let it come to him. Very lucky there, I suppose, to get away.
Running, Rancer. Good move in there, Rancer. Volley, Mitchie. Brilliant, Mitchie. Good boys. Yes, that.
Oh, he's dragged this one down a slower pace, and it looks like it's going to cost him a boundary.
Been a very profitable 5 minutes here for Bangladeshi team with 3 boundaries in the space of about 10 balls here. Santner just dragging it down. Mushfiqar, small man, just rocks back and powerfully through the leg side. Really is the sign of a good player when you look at their scorecard. He's on 47 now off 56 balls, and you really don't know where them 47 runs have come from.
Short single just in front of square.
Stuff set. Finish off here, set. Good, mate.
To say that right at the end of the over.
1-1-1.
Mamadullah a single as well, so 8 runs from the over, 160 for 4. It's after 34 overs, so time for a Ghazi Group drinks break.
No, you've got 2.
Please remember, spectators are allowed to any time during the interval or after. Spectators were reminded racial abuse of common sections with regard to ejection from the ground or possible further action such as prosecution, identification of the way the perpetrator
And we can see the batting card for Bangladesh progressing to 160 for 4 at the end of the 34th over. And a very interesting phase of the game coming up now. And Owais in his pitch report talked about 280 being a gettable score, and certainly at this stage with these 2 at the wicket, that is possible. So let's look at the fall of the wickets. First was Tamim slicing out to point. He'd be disappointed with that.
Good bit of bowling here by Santner. Just going on with the arm.
Catch, Tommy, catch, Tommy.
And this is crucial from a Bangladesh point of view. Sumaya.
Catch,
And this one, the key wicket of Shakib Al Hasan, rather a soft dismissal. I'm sure he'll be disappointed with that shot. But the bowling figures there. So Rance and Monroe slightly expensive, along with Jimmy Neesham, but the spinner in Santner and Sodhi getting a lot of control. Sodhi with 2 wickets and Santner just the 1. Well, if Bangladesh go along at 6 and over, they'll be looking at around 256. But I'd imagine they'd want a few more than that. Slow nature of the pitch, of course, will bring their spinners into it. But I reckon 280, 285 will be a very, very good score on this pitch.
Probably the crucial partnership here, Awais, Mohammadullah and Rahim. And really, Rahim has played beautifully here for the most part in this innings, piercing gaps, playing with controlled freedom.
Keep going, Ish. Come on, Ish. See you, bud.
Sodhi's been quite impressive in his spell so far. Prepared to give some air to the ball and skid the odd one through. Been rewarded with 2 wickets. Just an economy rate of 3.36. He's been impressive.
He's been very impressive, and interestingly, he's brought long on up. Neesham has come up, and deep mid-wicket is out. I think one of the more impressive features of Rahim is the use of the depth of the crease. They're unlucky to not pierce the gap, but nothing seems to ruffle him.
Ransa.
Great footwork there by Mushfiqur.
Brilliant pelt.
Just how he rocks back. He's able to press forward and then rock back and cut the ball just past point. That's why they talk about Asian players being good players spin. That's one of the reasons. You've got to be nimble on your feet, got to be able to quickly get back and get forward. Mushfiqur showing how quickly he can just do a small press forward and then rock back and cut the ball.
And that's the over, with Bangladesh advancing 163 for 4.
Going to bowling right, I'm over.
And some interesting domestic news. The Irish Senior Cup draw took place, and some very tasty, interesting second-round ties. Probably the pick, Donamana versus the Hills. And again, a tie that took place last year, CIYMS versus YMCA. Up in CIYMS on this particular occasion. But it's the competition all the club teams in Ireland want to win. And very interesting fixtures there. So Neesham is back in the attack. Ball stroked beautifully by Mohammadullah. Very impressed with him. And of course the second competition is the National Cup, introduced 4 or 5 years ago for senior clubs underneath the senior domestic teams, and again some very interesting ties all around the country of Ireland. Burndennan, Middleton, Derryaki. And that brings up 50 for Rahim. Batted beautifully out here today, and such an important innings for his team, which clearly Mamadullah is appreciating. Coming down, the usual glove slap, but he's played beautifully here today, and looks in that type of determined mood, Oais.
Yes, a very feisty character, Mushfiqur Rahim. 24th one-day international, 50. Batted beautifully today. He's a little fighter. 170 matches he's played for Bangladesh. Career best of 117. Averaging just above 30.
Nation will be disappointed.